Maybe? Yeah, we're on. Welcome back to Burning Rubber Garage. Today we're back under the Camaro. I looked at the oil. It was black as can be, and we haven't gone that far, but it's been quite a while. It's done probably more idling than driving. So what we're going to do is change the oil. I got Justin here with me again.
Hey guys.
We're taking a peek at it. There's some other issues we got going on over there, but come with us. A lot of people are afraid to change their own oil, so they take it to Jiffy Lube, and those guys screw up more cars than you probably would if you just did it yourself. They leave stuff undone. They don't put drain plugs in. They don't change your filters. A lot of times you just never know what you're going to get. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying a lot of them sometimes are a little bit shady. So come with us. We'll show you what we need. We are going to be working on the Camaro right here. It's an older engine, a little easier to get to than some of the newer stuff, just because there's not as much electronics and other things around there. Plus, it sits a little higher than that guy. That guy's a pain. What we did do is I've got the race ramps, which I use to haul cars. They extend your angle, so it makes it so you don't scrape. We're up on those. I trust those a lot more than I trust a jack or jack stands while I'm under the car. So come with us. We'll get under there. We'll do that. And we've got a few other odds and ends we'll do on this, and then we'll go from there. All right, a couple things you're going to need. The nice thing about this is once you do it, you'll have it. You're going to want some sort of catch can here. This has been a really good one, other than the twisting on the front. This car happens to use a 9/16. One thing I like to do first, let's make sure we're holding you there. Make sure righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This one's going lefty. Something easier to do here than when you get back under there. A light's always a good thing. You're definitely going to need some paper towels. Sometimes if it's on there too tight, you might need an oil filter wrench. But this is probably your main thing right there to catch that. Otherwise, good luck. You're going to just spot your driveway. So let me get under there and we'll loosen that nut and go from there. All right, guys. So right down here, you're going to see your oil pan. This is, on a newer car, it can be a lot tougher. I'm seeing people drain, oh geez, all kinds of fluids. The main mistake they make is they drain their transmission fluid. So make sure you get under there and make sure that's your oil. On an old car, it's really nice because it usually leaks and you can see the oil. Depending on who did your last oil change, this thing could be on there pretty dang tight. Start draining, try and get that in the center there. Make sure your plug that comes out right here doesn't plug the hole, because then you'll fill that thing up and spill again. So there's a lot of things you can do wrong. Once you've done it once, though, you should be a pro. So we're going to let this drain, and then I'll show you where the filter's at. So
I don't know if many of you guys noticed, but Cam over here is not worried about protection. Good idea to wear your safety glasses. Protection's always the must.
I wear protection when it counts, buddy.
Hence the 15 kids.
This oil is not that old. I think I changed it. God, when was it? Probably August. But it just looked nasty. But I did the cheap oil because I just wanted to cycle through some oil I knew it'd sit for the winter. This time we got some additive. We'll show you what we're putting in it. And we'll kind of break down the oil for you so you can kind of know what it means. You ever seen anybody drop the trans fluid?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, I don't want to name names, but my little brother did.
I won't say that maybe one time when I was 16 I may have done that once.
We got some other leakage going on this car too. Plus, as we were under here looking earlier, we noticed that this oil pan may or may not have all the bolts in it. I'm leaning towards the main knot because I already saw it too. It's probably good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it back on my hand. That should stop the leak right there, so I can push this out of the way enough to grab it with my wrench. I've already switched it to Tighten, I believe. Maybe not. There you go. It's just snug. All right, guys. A couple other tools you may need, you may not need. A lot of people can get away with it. If you have on gloves like Justin's got on, safety first, right? That will work. If you're smart enough to buy one with one of these, I believe it's a 1-inch. You can wrench on, wrench off. You won't need to wrench on, but you can wrench off. A lot of us, though, this is up in the engine. You get it down there, and as you see how that kind of starts to tighten, grab it, and it will start to spin. But you got to make sure you're going the right way. So if this thing's up there and you're underneath it, you need to be like looking at it righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Get it under there, and see, like this way, we are now going
tight.
So now all you got to do is flip it around, once it grabs, you're going to get it. You're not going to have a lot of room under your car more than likely. So the nice thing about it, you can slide it, crank it. It's going to slip on that sticker, but I mean, if it was held in there really well and I was cranking on that, it's not going to slip on that sticker, but here it is. You may only be able to go that much, and usually once you get at least a quarter to a half a turn in there, then you can get under there with your hand and finish it out the other way. So we're going to take this, slide it over. You notice I'm sliding as far as I can. I'm starting to put a little pressure on it. I'm going to have to use two hands, but... And now I've hit here. So now what I'm going to do, keep my hand on it, back it back up. It could be a slow process. The nice thing is we're not crushing it. And I can feel it broke free there. You can feel it, so you're pretty much using one finger. At this point, I'm going to try and get it so you guys can see still with this magnetic light that is lovely and a pile of crap. But you're going to want to slide this underneath. You are going to get oil on you on this. So if the car is hot, let it cool a little bit. This car is warm, but it's not hot. So what I'm going to do now is start to twist. The nice thing about this versus some of the newer cars is, yeah, it's going to probably spill a little on this. I can wipe this exhaust pipe off and we're going to be good to go. So I'm twisting it. How you undo this is going to pretty much set the pace for how much spills. Because now it is fully slick. I don't know if you can see my hand. It's all over it. I might cry, but I'm not going to in front of the camera. We're dropping it off. It's going to fall right into the palm of my hand. Eventually. Right there. If I dump that thing, it's going to just come pouring out. But now that I'm in there, I can dump it. It'll start to drain. I've got my paper towel right here. Wipe my hand off. And you're pretty much, would you say halfway?
Oh yeah.
You're halfway done. Chicks dig you when you have oil on your hands anyways. They know you can work for a living. You're not a scrub. That's the truth.
Here's our oil. We decided to go with a Valvoline Max Life 10W40. Give you a quick rundown on what these oil numbers mean. Your 10W40. 40 is going to be your viscosity of the oil. How the viscosity of the oil is at high temp. 100 degrees Celsius. The thicker that oil is, so that 40 versus a 30, it's just all about the numbers of performance at temperature. The 10W is a cold. A lot of people will say 10 weight. It's actually 10 winter. It's how it performs at cold temp.
All right, we also got this STP high mileage oil treatment. I'm not so sure on this. The thing I like about this is it contains a little more zinc. Some of the older engines like it. The other thing I want is this seal swell agent. I'm not sure. I mean, they could really put whatever they want. They could put, gives you 100 horsepower. Honestly, I'm just trying it on that one. The Nova, we tried a thing of Restore, the 8-cylinder formula. This one we're going to try the high mileage treatment. You probably wonder, it's probably hot out. I'm in shorts and a beanie. I like the beanie so I don't bang my head. A lot of head cuts and stuff like that have happened under these cars because you're sliding under there, it's dark, and you hit your head. So I like to wear a beanie. But this guy, we're going to give it a shot and see. This guy, last time we drove it last Saturday, and there's a little bit of oil underneath it. We are missing a few bolts. That could be the main culprit. So what we're going to want to do here, here's our K&N filter. If you have a Chevy 350, there's a good chance you're running a HP 202. We looked for the mobile. It was an M111. What I like to do is this seal can get a little bit dry. I just take a little of this. Yeah, it's old oil, but it's still lubricant. Still pretty good. If you're changing your oil not as frequently as you should, you can always dunk your finger in there and pull it. I like to lube up that seal. The other thing we're going to do here is when we get over there, we're going to pour, probably get this at least half full because it's going to be an easy transition over and up. Now, if you've got if it's at an angle, you might only be able to put in that much before you're going to get it all over your face. But what that does is when you start it and this thing's empty, your motor's starved for oil for a second. That's why when you start it and you're looking at that oil pressure, which we'll show you because I believe this has an oil pressure, you're at 0 and all of a sudden it's back up to 40 or 50, whatever you're at. But if you put it in here, it lessens that time. So it's still going to fill it and it's going to run it through, but it just saves your motor running dry for a little bit. So that's one thing I would definitely recommend if you're straight up like that. There are ones I've seen that go like that. Not a lot you can do in that case. But on ours, we're going to take advantage of it and try and help the motor out because it needs all the help it's going to get if we're going to road trip it somewhere this summer, which we're going to. With that, let's get this thing filled and we'll load it up. All Alright, so we got the top off of this. This guy we're going to put in probably just like I said, half. Just be careful, you don't want to put too much in. There we go. Just be careful not to tip it on its side. Yeah, it takes a little more work. One thing you want to do, sometimes people get busy, they start changing their oil, they don't put the drain plug back in. I put it in before I leave the bottom of the car, unless something big happened, because then you start pouring oil in and it's coming out as fast as you're dumping it in. The other thing is, make sure you got this guy on, or else it's coming out there, and that's probably when you start it. And then your motor's really going to take a hit. We use this blanket. We also have little bits and pieces like this. Carpet samples make life a little bit easier, so when you see people giving these out, yeah, you might not want the carpet, but freaking take it. They are nice for your knees and everything. So let's get under there and put this guy in. What you can see here is this is where you're sealing. One thing you want to definitely do is check your old one, because sometimes the gaskets will stick right around this area, and you might have to get in there and pry it out and then razor blade it off. Ours came off clean. I've got oil in this, so I'm going to take it up. So I'm about hand tight there. So I'm hand tight there. That's probably not going to leak anyways. I like to go another quarter turn past. I think that's pretty close. Might be a half. I'm not very good at math. Good enough. If you really were had a weak grip because of the oil, it does make your hand slick. You could wrench that on. Just be careful not to go too tight. You can start to crush stuff. We're good there. Let's wipe this down while we're down here. So guys, you pretty much have done your biggest, hardest part of the oil change. The next part is getting a funnel and dumping it in and not putting too much. You don't want to run too little or too much. All right, guys, so that's kind of all you're going to need to do under here. I like to wipe stuff down. If you don't wipe your exhaust off, you will see some smoke and you start to panic. So just take a little bit of paper towel or whatever, wipe it off, go from there. This car is running some huge exhaust pipe. I mean, it's like 2-inch.
For everything, all the way back.
All the way back into some Flowmasters, which for some reason I'm really disappointed with how this car sounds. It just feels like it should be louder. It could be the lack of header. Some of you guys with your newer cars, you're going to have this right there. It's going to tell you what type of oil to use. On that one, we made a judgment call. This is also going to say engine oil, which is kind of nice. You'll pop that off, dump it in. If it says it takes 5 quarts, I would put in maybe 4, let it fill the filter up, don't let it run too long, but I put in enough that it'll run fine, and then let it sit, check the oil, and start filling it from there. So on our Camaro, we don't have that, so let's go show them where we got to put it in. So on this one, if you look around the car, there's not a lot here. I mean, there's one valve cover there. The other side, does it even have anything? Has a breather tube. So on this one, pop that out. All right, guys, so we pulled this gasket off. That way our thing fits, because the other one would have taken years to get it filled. What we're running here, like we told you, is this. The nice thing about this, it's got the marks over here, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts. So we want to get down to this last quart, then we'll start it and see what we got left. We'll probably do that additive too. So make sure this stuff's out of your way, or else it's going to cause you to spill all over. So let's go ahead and pour some in, shall we?
Yep.
Look at that nice color.
It's like liquid gold.
Sometimes the price it is, man.
Should coin that phrase.
Liquid gold.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to a theater near you. We've got about a quart left over there. That puts 4 in there. One thing I am going to do is put this additive in, because I for sure want it in there, and it's going to take up some of that quart. This guy's 15 ounces. Whew.
That's potent.
Dude. Here, I'm going to put it up here. If any of you guys have that new smell-o-vision, there you go, dude. It smells like diarrhea and baby throw-up.
Nice and thick.
Actually, baby throw-up is probably better than that. Yeah, that's good. That's how it stops the leaks there. It's nice and thick. It's like honey.
I might need a rag because your helper did a horrible job. And it's on the valve covers now.
It's on the valve cover.
Oh wait, I'm a helper. I don't know what that's called, a valve cover.
Dude, you should apply at Jiffy Lube.
Put on my resume, I know what a valve cover is.
I know that the W isn't weight. They'd probably be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why don't you?
Ladies, gentlemen, make sure when you're disposing of your fluids, dispose of them into a proper container and take them down to your local collection plant.
Yeah, so with that there, let's go ahead and throw this guy back in. We'll fire this up. Let me take you inside the car here. So you guys can see right here is my oil pressure. Hopefully you guys can see that. We are zeroed out right now, but when I start, it might stay zero for a second, and as soon as it comes back up, you know you circulated enough to fill it. There you go, we built our pressure back up. It would have been probably another couple seconds had we not pre-filled that. Right around the 45 mark. I think it's almost 50. You've seen it kind of jump up there, but let's go ahead, go back under there and check it.
Tip number 3, not 2, 3, stay hydrated.
So find yourself a clean spot, a paper towel. The reason being is sometimes it's hard to see. So I'm going to wipe this guy off. When you dump it in, sometimes it'll run, slosh around a little bit, give you an inaccurate read. We're right at full.
You're right at full.
Thank you guys for watching. Recently we picked up, I think it was 10 subscribers in 2 days. That's pretty awesome. So thanks all you guys for joining. Justin's going to be firing up a channel at some point. He'll have a lot of similar content, but it'll be probably on different stuff. And definitely when we go ride, you'll get my take, his take, and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for this. We got plenty more. I haven't seen a lot of comments recently, just thumbs up. I appreciate that too. If you like something you see, you want more of that, let us know. We're more than happy.
Yeah, drop a comment if you want me to do anything crazy. Maybe a name for my channel. Maybe a new tattoo. You know, I don't do Twinkies tattoos. I don't do little horse tattoos. But, you know, drop me something. We'll figure it out.